Okay, well, hello, hello. I'm so happy and excited to be here with my friend and client, Rhonda. Rhonda has been working and allowing me to partner with her for the past, I don't know, 3 to 4 months or so, right? Rhonda, you've done the Return, Restore, Renew program was our initial way, and now you're our initial way of working together. And now you are in the Healing Codes program, which is a deeper dive into specifically the spiritual aspect of all the work that we do. So thank you so much for being here. I would love for people to get to know a bit about your journey and how it's been for you and us working together the last few months.
Okay, absolutely. And thank you, Linda. I'm so glad that you asked me to do this because the difference that you have made for me has been tremendous. And it gives me, I'm honored to share that with other people. So I just want to say like how much I appreciate all the work that you do and the difference that you've made in other women's lives. And of course, I especially appreciate what you've done in mine. That's been huge. And I'm going to look at my notes just a little bit as we're going through this because I want to make sure that I get everything in. You've done so much for me that I don't want to miss anything. So let's go with that. Sure.
Perfect.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, and I literally feel if we go, when you're talking about the spiritual aspect, that God seriously led me to you. I am so different now than I was 12 weeks ago whenever we did first start working together. And before I connected with you, I was literally in a dark pit. That's honestly how I felt. I was having challenges even just making it through the day. I was anxious. I was depressed. I was having crying jags and completely not myself at all. I remember being a person that was always happy and jovial and had joy, and I was just not that person anymore. I think that over time, what had happened was that I'd let the stresses run me. I'd let the anxiety run me, and I wasn't able to, I was overwhelmed all the time. And it was literally like running my life. I wasn't running it. My life was running me, and the anxiety was running me. And I was literally living moment by moment, as we've talked about, in the fight or flight. That was my day to day. And the more I tried to run from me, the more I was still there. And the more challenging that was. Like I couldn't get away from myself. And it was almost like a torment. And I couldn't do that anymore. And I started looking for a therapist because I knew I'd been through therapy before. And I started looking for a therapist in our area, started making some phone calls, and I couldn't get an appointment for like weeks and months out. And because everybody is in such need, I think after the pandemic, there are so many people who are needing help. And that's really, and so I was definitely obviously one of them. And I'm not going to blame it just on the pandemic, but I think that certainly intensified it. But I couldn't find anyone. And I knew that I could not keep on with this. I could not, the space that I was in. And I was literally praying to God, please just like help me. I wanted to find that peace and I could not find it. And honestly, I feel like he led me to you. He did. I was scrolling at night, the late nights when you can't sleep. And I was scrolling through Google and looking, what to do if you're depressed, what to do if you're feeling this way, what to do if you're feeling anxious. And, the algorithm will catch up on Facebook. And then, I'd go through and scroll through Facebook, and you kept coming up. And everything that you were saying in your video was exactly the same symptoms that I was having and that I was feeling. And I thought, okay, there's a connection here. And I have to say, I've been scammed before, right? On certain things when I got into it. So I started Googling and learning more about you and hearing your story. And when I started hearing that, I knew it was the real deal. And so whenever I connected with you and you said, I really think I can help you. And I know I was a little hesitant at first, really, you think you can really help me? Because I felt like I was just, I was a crazy girl at that point. I just was not myself at all. And you said, no, I really can help you. And so I trusted in that. And that's what I did. When we connected, you told me the importance of like body, mind, and spirit. And that if any one of those are off, your whole foundation is off. And I, again, was trying so hard to connect with that spirit part, but my mind was in that hamster wheel that I couldn't even feel or find the peace that God really has for all of us. And you helped to just start from the very beginning to calm that. And when you calm that allowed me to really hear and feel the love and peace that he does want all of us to have. And that I could start to feel the journey start to heal. And I could start to feel my body start to heal, and the journey began. I remember even the first couple of days back at work, taking some of the tools that you had given us, like with the heart math, where you're totally like just stopping, calming, getting into your heart.
Mm.
helped me just get on that elevator to get up to my office, because there were some days I would go in and I could just feel the anxiety build, and I would use those tools consistently. Like, I probably used them the first day after we met and I learned about it. I probably used them 10 times that day. But you know what? It got me through the day. And by the end of the day, I didn't have that crying. I wasn't having those crying jags. I still had some of the anxiety, but every day that I did that, and every point that I kept in with the spirituality piece of that, and then I did the heart math, and then I used the tools, I was able to get through the day. And the next day got a little better, and the next day got a little better. And before I knew, it's like, I'm kind of happy again, and I started to feel the joy again. And it's like, wow, I remember going to work one morning going, I can listen to the radio and actually enjoy it. And I wasn't like in a stressful point. I was just really feeling like happy. And the other cool piece of all that was that my husband and my family and my friends all started to say, they're like, what's happening with you? They honestly could tell a true difference. And my husband's words were to me, and I think he wanted to come on a call in one of ours and say, thank you, because he really did. He said, I have my wife back. And he has told other people that numerous times. And I've sung your praises and the class and what we learned in that to other friends that I've had too. And I've said, ask him, like, if I've changed any. And he said, oh, absolutely. So there's a huge difference with all of that. One of the things when we talk about like coming from a place of love, it's not just this fluffy thought that some people hear. You hear rainbows, butterflies, so I just love. It's more than that. It's like you truly reconnect with the love that God wants us to have. And now I think I've shared this with you and some of the other ladies in our group, that sometimes literally my heart is so full of love that I feel like it could just explode. I told one of my friends last night, I said, some days I feel like going skipping down the street and hugging everybody. I just truly like feel that joy again. And that's something that I hadn't felt in a really long time. And honestly, until I went through this, I didn't know that I could get back. And so because of what we've learned, like that is just, it's amazing. And in my work, because it's changed tremendously. What I was really getting to a point that I was challenged with my work and not sure that I was liking where I was at, and knew that I wanted to get back to that and feel my juju again, right? And actually feel the creativity again that I had, because that's one of the parts I love about my job. And so what I've learned through all of this too is, if I'm having an off day or I'm not feeling creative that day, it's okay. Go on and do something else. And when you release the stress on yourself and the demands on yourself, and you love yourself, it's okay. That creativity will come back. Just go on and do something else. And it just frees your mind up and you get even more creative too. So I like love my work again.
Oh my goodness, Rhonda, all of that. I can't even tell which is my favorite piece of what you said, ending with I love my work again, or my husband says I got my wife back, or I feel joy again and happy to listen to the music in the radio when I'm driving in the car. All of that is like, I think, what life should be about. So I'm really thrilled to have been part of this journey with you. What we do, what Rhonda has alluded to, is really returning home to that alignment of body, mind, and spirit. And home base is love. And you're right. Sometimes in the, out in the world, it's like love is like la-di-la-di-da, but not at a home base level. When it's truly the love for life, the love for yourself, the love that we're here to spread with those around us. And a lot of people are hurting and have lost that connection. It's always there. They just haven't been present to it, need to find it again. That's really what we do. And for someone to trust their life and their joy and their spirit to me and I'll say, yes, come partner with me, is my joy. And that's where I get my life. So I want to thank you for that. Yeah.
Well, and the other part too, and coming together, and I think the joy in all of this and what you do too is the ability that we're able to actually connect, like with a group of ladies.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, that is so great, Rhonda. Thank you. And here's Judith, another wonderful friend and client. So I'm so grateful to have both of you here. Rhonda, before I ask Judith sort of about her experience and her journey, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us about the last few months for you and what's opened up?
Sure, absolutely. And I think it's wonderful having Judith on here as well, because we were in the same class together. And so I really, really appreciated that. I think that's one of the awesome things about this program too, with the Return, Restore, and Renew, is that we have a group of ladies that come together. And when you first go into this, you think you're the only one that feels this way. You must be the only one on the planet that feels this way and that is this depressed, this anxious, this whatever. But that's not the case. And seeing all of us and seeing the changes that have occurred in all of us and sharing those experiences together makes it all the better. You realize, one, you're not alone, and then you get to have that celebration. And like I've said, if you know, I think if we could all do a virtual high five, we would be doing that, because I've noticed how just looking at everyone's face and even eyes, because you know, your eyes are the window to your soul, and you see everybody's eyes just light up. And you see just a lightness about them and that they're happy again. And we're all like laughing in some of these, where when we first came in, some of us were crying and like literally like our hearts were just breaking. And so to see that and celebrate that, I think is absolutely wonderful. So I think just having that joy and being able to share that with other people is huge. And of course, you know that life still happens, and we know that there's still, you know, and it has for me, and I'm sure it has for Judith, the tools that we have learned in all of this keep us moving forward. And I'm excited to also be a part of this next, the master class with our healing codes, and know that I can only enhance this journey and enhance my healing all the more is really exciting. And I think if anyone were to ask me, what would I say about that? About the class, whether it's the return, restore, renew, or whether it's about the healing codes, is that all you have to do is want it. You just have to want to be happy. It's really hard when you're in that place and in the pit, as I call it, but all you have to do is just want it, and then just be open to it. If you just want to be happy, you want to feel that love, you want to feel that joy again, just open yourself up to the possibility and it will happen for you. So that's what I've got to say, but thank you so much.
Rhonda, thank you. And that is a really good point, because sometimes we're so in it, or we're so used to saying no to ourselves, like, no, this is my life, this is what I've got, whatever. It's hard to move into, what do I need? What do I want for my life? And can I say yes? Can I say yes to something that's ultimately going to shift my life? So it's a great point. I thank you for sharing that. And it's the perfect segue to just with Judith here now. Thank you, Judith, for joining us. I would love to know also how your experience has been. We've been together for, I don't know, about 4 months or so now, a little bit more. And, you know, just how that journey has been for you.
Well, there have been a few things. One, I found more peace of mind. Before, my monkey mind would keep me up at night or take me out of the moment. And so now I'm finding more peace of mind, staying in the moment more, or coming back to the moment more easily. It's not always about staying centered. It's about coming back to our center, because life is gonna, you know, knock us off and get us off balance. So I found more peace of mind and able to come back to my center more easy. I've also learned to speak up more in my relationship. Before, I would be more of a people pleaser. I don't want to rock the boat. My needs don't matter, but I found more self-worth and realized my needs do matter. And I can set boundaries and I can speak up and ask for what I want and need. So that's been another change I've seen. And then before, I think I was, well, there's going to be stress in your life, but I think I was so in fight or flight with like that gas pedal all the way down constantly. And now I'm able to lift that pedal, lift my foot off the gas pedal. And I thought about when I was, I think I was young. I don't know if I was like a teenager, or I think I was a teenager, but I was just learning how to drive. And I was afraid and I didn't want to get on the highway. And my dad goes, "Oh yeah, come on, you're ready." And I was like, "I don't think so." So we get on the highway, we're coming to this light and I need to turn left to go into town, and the light's turning yellow. And so in my head, I got to speed up to get through the light. Well, I don't calculate that I'm also turning left. So I go up on the grass and there's this "Welcome to Noblesville" sign. Now people in Noblesville will know it's me. The "Welcome to Noblesville" sign, you know, bam, hit that. Speed limit sign, nope, not going that speed limit, bam. And all this while, I didn't realize I had my foot still on the gas pedal. I didn't think, I was in such fear. I didn't know how to, I didn't go to stop the car. I just was like gunning it. And I think that's partly like when you're in fight or flight, you just got that, you're just gunning it without even consciously realizing it, and hitting signs and knocking over speed limit signs. And we were almost like catapulted over. So with this program, I've just found I'm taking my foot off the gas pedal and being more relaxed and able to make decisions and more empowering choices. So I don't feel like I'm stuck in patterns. I feel like I'm moving forward. So that's another thing. And just more confidence with my business. I feel like I have something of value to offer, and the ebb and flow of my business doesn't determine my self-worth or the value of what I have to offer. Maybe I have to retweak things. Maybe that's just the way things are, but it makes me want to move forward with my business, even if it's small steps that leads to big changes, but it makes me want to keep moving forward instead of quitting. So that's another thing. And just the program accelerates all of this. It's kind of like you've had the power all along, just like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. You've had the power all along. And I think the programs help you realize this, and also just the support of other women help you feel empowered too, along with the program. So those are some of the changes that I've seen since the programs and being with the other women.
Oh, Judith, you give the best examples. Thank you. I love, as you started talking about the learning to drive, right? And having your foot, I thought of two things. And it is like that when life is feeling like that, when we're like so in stress and overwhelm, it feels like I didn't even know I could take my foot off. I'm just like going. And I remember one time I backed out of a driveway and I was turning the wheel, and I was like, I don't know, senior in high school, and I just kept turning the wheel. So I started doing this backward donut, going in reverse. Like I didn't do that many times. I think I did it like once, but I never like straightened the wheel out because I was so like, oh my God, I'm in reverse. Like I had never done it before. I know, not sounding brilliant right there in that example. It is like, it's a lot like that. It was a great example. Another time in driver's ed, I was, accelerating onto the highway, and the teacher was like, go, go, go. But I was like, no, I don't think so, sir. There was this like disconnect. And then I almost had us all killed because I didn't accelerate fast enough. So it's great examples of, I think, that we can all relate to. And certainly if you've ever felt overwhelmed and stressed, and you both really shared from your heart, I appreciate that, from your heart, where you were at in your life and where you are now, because that's really, we all want to have a life that feels good to be living, whether it's, creating a business. Judith does Reiki and a lot of energy work and animal communication, which is wonderful. And people need that and want that. They love their animals. So for you to be able to provide that is wonderful. And, Rhonda is very creative and in charge of a great team and doing wonderful things in the world. When all of us can be out in the world doing the thing that lights us up and making a difference, that's why we're here. So thank you both for allowing me to be your partner in your journey and trusting me to partner with me and to just really share yourself and your heart. So I thank you so much for this conversation.
Well, sure. And thank you for sharing your life with us too. And I think that's one of the things that I think Judith would probably echo the same sentiments, that you've shared your life, and that you've had challenges too. Like you've had plenty of things too. And I think that helps us grow too. And that takes away that intimidation of, I must be the only one feeling this way, when your coach has been through some things too, and you share that, and that helps us grow. We know you're willing to share that part of your life. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, thanks. I think what I've learned receiving coaching, I think that, first of all, anybody who says they haven't had challenges, I would be suspicious of, right? Because life just is that way. But also it's the challenges and the growth that show us the direction and ultimately provide us the best lesson. So I took my challenges, and I did have some significant ones. I have had things that knocked me to my knees more than once. And like, okay, what am I going to do with that? And to be able to take that and do this with you guys is exactly the greatest gift in the world. That is what also, if you're looking at how would I decide on a coach to work with? You want someone who's already been down the road in front of you, I think, not someone who's just learned about it, but someone who's actually been down the same steps. So thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate it. Okay, ladies, well, we have work to do this week. I know that I'll be seeing you both because we're still in it together, which makes me so happy. But I thank you for your time today and your generosity and sharing your heart.
Certainly. Thank you.
Yep, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thanks, Judith. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank